are things that are more important to me than the story of Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
And I hope that there's some investigative journalist digging into the truth.
Why are we waiting for other people to dig into the story? Ain't you a motherfucking reporter? Do your job, ho. While you was at this house chilling, did you not think damn, it's a lot of kids here. You ain't think that? There will be one day where all this shit come to a head, and I am looking forward to it 1000%. I want to see all these niggas perp walked and smacked around. Every JRE guest in the Epstein files.
It's now starting to appear that Joe Rogan's had a lot of people on his show that are now confirmed to have been closely linked to the predator and criminal himself, which has definitely left a lot of people. I mean, it's one thing to have maybe one or two guys linked to Epstein on his show, but when you realize that Joe Rogan's platformed more than 9 different people and counting at this point, who were named in the files, sometimes thousands of different times, it all certainly raises more than a few questions. And it's not like anyone's accusing Joe Rogan of secretly going to Epstein's island or anything, but the very fact that he's had so many of these weirdos on his podcast.
Like, how could you even do an interview with this nigga, bro? This nigga hair is clearly dyed. He look weird as hell. He gotta have something going on, Joe.
Just prove.
What the fuck is a vetting process? It should be, you gotta look at least like you don't fuck children.
Proves how accurate Duncan Trussell was in the opening clip there. Like, all of these creepy billionaires flock to Joe's podcast because they feel a sense of safety and protection with Joe. Not only because he never challenges these guys on anything or even questions their links to Epstein, but also because he's so easily manipulated and will believe just about anything you say to him, especially if you have power over him. Peter Thiel, for example, who's a billionaire tech investor and co-founder of Palantir and PayPal, admitted to Joe Rogan that he met Jeffrey Epstein back in 2014, about 8 years after Epstein was initially arrested for all of the despicable and nasty stuff that he did to children.
You know, I met Epstein a few times as well, and
also, like, bro, this shirt with the hair combo, Joe.
I think.
How'd you get introduced?
It was Reid Hoffman in Silicon Valley introduced us. It was basically
when you were introduced to him, how was he described to you?
He was described as one of the smartest tax people in the world.
Interesting.
And I probably was my moral weakness that I.
Well, how could you have known back then? He had never been arrested.
No, this was 2014. It was post arrest.
Oh, so his arrest was the first arrest, right?
Yeah,
which was like 2000.
07, 08.
Okay.
Upon learning this, though, Rogan doesn't even think twice before making excuses for Thiel, saying that he knows a lot of people who were tricked by Epstein, instantly letting Thiel off the hook.
But I thought he always had good judgment in people.
When the shit went down and Epstein gets arrested for the second time, were you like, oh, well, there you go?
I've thought about it. I thought a lot about it as a result, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Jesus Christ. Well, he tricked a lot of people. I know a lot of people that met that guy.
Yes, Joe, he tricked children, Joe. A lot of those kids did not know what they was about to get into, Joe. That's who he tricked. Let's just clarify shit.
So that right there is the very reason why so many of these elites just love going on Joe's podcast. Because Joe's best friends with whoever's across the table with him that day. And he was probably so starstruck by Thiel and his connections that he never even thought to second guess the guy on his relationships with Jeffrey Epstein. Now that the files are out though, it seems pretty clear that Thiel was a lot closer to Epstein than he led Joe on to believe. I mean, there's a bunch of back and forth emails between them about having dinners together in various places, and there's even one where Thiel suggests meeting him on a quote-unquote island, which could very well be the island, if you know what I mean.
No, it was the island. That's the island. That's where shit was popping off.
There's, of course, nothing immediately acknowledging the crimes or anything, but I would venture to say that doing business with a convicted sex criminal for personal enrichment generally means you're a bad guy, not to mention being in regular communication with them. But of course, Rogan doesn't bother looking even an inch further into any of that, which is why a lot of people criticize Joe as an interviewer. Like, the guy can't shut up about Epstein and all the stuff surrounding him, but as soon as he has someone on the show that's literally sat down and had one-on-one conversations with the guy, Joe immediately brushes over it and then switches the topic.
I know a lot of people that met that guy.
Nigga, we know.
Celebrities to come to his house for parties and things.
Well, I think I think a lot of it was this strange commentary on, I know there was some secret club, secret society you could be part of.
Right.
And
of course.
Again, it wasn't explicit, but that was the vague vibe of the whole thing.
People love those stupid things. They love like exclusive clubs that very few people. Look at the fucking Soho House. Like, look at that stupid thing. I mean, you just.
It's so crazy the difference between how they talking about the shit. Peter Thiel's literally talking about it like, yeah, he low-key admitting the shit. Yeah, I think it was just people wanting to join our shit for real. I think it's just and Joe trying to make it like, yeah, that was crazy. And Peter Thiel sitting here literally dead the fuck serious, bro. Dead the fuck serious.
A place that you have to be a member to go to, and everybody wants to be a member. Oh my God,
Yeah.
gotta get it. And then you get like the Malibu
Yeah.
Soho House. It's different from the other ones. You have to have a membership only there.
And you see, Peter Thiel is really just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to JRE guests that have been involved with Epstein.
Hold on. Never believe a nigga that ears come off their face like this. This is literally, bro. Look at this dude, bro. And I'm not the fucking picture. I'm not fucking clavicular looks maxing ass. But I can literally tell you that this motherfucker looks like he touches children, bro. It's just simply, it's a fact at this point. Not that he touched kids, but that he looked like he touched kids. Allegedly.
There are the big ones like Elon Musk and Donald Trump, but it actually goes way deeper than that. Like, believe it or not, Joe's literally platformed Epstein's personal chef, Adam Perry Lang, who worked for Epstein for 4 years straight back in the late 90s, flying with him on his private jet to
he knows some shit.
Epstein's various different properties, including the infamous Epstein Island. And this was all public information prior to that podcast, so it was pretty strange that Joe didn't bring that up once. There was even an article written about it. And of course, there could have been some kind of agreement that Joe signed to not mention it with him during the podcast, but nonetheless, it's all very fishy.
What's happening, brother? How are you?
Good to be here.
Good to
What's
have
happening?
you. I have enjoyed your restaurant many times. This is my favorite steak restaurant in all of Los Angeles.
Thank you.
It's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you in here, because this is a really crazy time for restaurants. And I mean, that's basically... That's the gist of it. This is a crazy time.
It's bananas.
Joe Rogan, there's no fucking way that you had the chef of Jeffrey Epstein on and you want to talk about the restaurant industry. This shit has been around for fucking decades. Nobody gives a fuck how the restaurant industry is doing, Joe. What's the whole point of even having this motherfucker on without that? Why would you not ask questions about that? This nigga's of no importance. It's not like he's fucking Gordon Ramsay on this. Nobody knows this dude except for you and some kids and Donald Trump maybe and Peter Thiel and Bill Gates probably. But you get it.
It's absolutely crazy.
And then there's Dr. Peter Attia, who was apparently Epstein's private doctor and shared thousands of emails with Jeffrey, which of course are extremely twisted. But I'll touch on that later more in the video. Just know that as of right now, there are about 9 or 10 people who went on Joe's show that are named in the files, which is just a mind-boggling number of people. As weird as that may be though, there's not really one single answer to it that people can agree on. You know, some people theorize that Joe's been bought out and paid for by the upper crust of society, or even the CIA, and others think that it's merely a coincidence. No matter what you choose to believe in though, the one thing that's true here is that Joe gives the softest, most patty cake style of interviews to a select group of people, and a lot of those people were named in the Epstein list. And Donald Trump's a great example of this. Like during that Donald Trump interview, which now has over 61 million views on YouTube alone, Joe Rogan never even brought up Epstein or the suspiciousness surrounding Epstein's death, which is a topic that Joe's talked about on hundreds of other episodes before this one. He basically just gave Trump the easiest interview of his life.
One of the beautiful things about you is that you freeball. Like, you get out and you do these huge events and you're just talking and you're making. We've highlighted you on the show many times where you.
That nigga free ball a little too much, Joe.
When he did this Biden impression where he's walking around, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's funny. It's stand up. It's funny stuff. But it's like you and you were making fun of Elon one time. You were doing an Elon impression. It's great. You have like comedic instincts. Like when you said to Hillary, you'd be in jail. Like it's great timing. And I think
You know, it's funny. You need
at least the attitude of a comedian when you're doing this business. This is a very dangerous business, first of all. It's a very tough business.
It's the most dangerous business.
It's the most, well, for a job?
Yes.
For the kids, Trump.
Softball
is dangerous for the children.
Interview basically greenlit all of the cronies to go on Joe's show, as Joe's spine basically disappears whenever someone in the Trump administration appears on the show. Like a couple of short months after that Trump podcast, Joe had Kash Patel on, where he let Kash basically lie to his face and his millions of listeners about everything having to do with the Epstein files and Epstein's suspicious death.
Elon and Trump seem to be in a bit of a spat, Joe. You want to check the tweet that Elon just put out a little bit ago?
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason
Jamie
made public. Have a nice day. Jesus Christ.
I'm not participating in any of that conversation
What is
between Elon
Have
and
a
Trump.
nice day, DJD. Someone gets phone away.
They're going back and forth about different things. And
Yeah.
How does he know? Does he know that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files? Or does he have access to the Epstein files?
I don't know how he would, but I'm just staying out of the Trump Elon thing. That's way outside my lane.
What the fuck are they doing?
I know my lane, and that ain't it.
I just don't. What did you think before you got in office? Did you think that Epstein was murdered?
No.
No suspicion at all of it?
There's just no way you could have run an op and had people go into that cell and not have any video of it and not have any people come out and say, hey, yeah, I saw that guy. He shouldn't have been there, the guard or this guy. There's just no access points into places like this in the detention center he was in.
Bro, Kash Patel is the biggest piece of shit ever, bro. This motherfucker didn't do shit but spend forever in every minute of every podcast he ever been on talking about there's no way he committed, you know what I'm saying? He had to be killed. And now, as soon as he get in there, it's fucking, he don't even look like this no more, bro. This look, every time I see this, he look like this. Cause he know. What are you sitting here telling me the fucking FBI, the CIA, the fucking president not gonna make sure everybody in that fucking jail stay shut the fuck up? What happened to the missing footage in the whole video?
And no, Kash Patel was not named in the files, but he's directly responsible for the delay of their release. And he literally lied under oath about their existence late last year, which is now making millions of people online call for his arrest.
Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
So Kash Patel is Trump's personal shoe shiner. And of course, he manipulated Joe into believing everything he said about the Epstein files and Epstein's death. And just to be clear, Patel isn't in the files, but this just shows you why a bunch of these fishy, mega-rich guys feel safe going on to Joe's podcast. One guest that did entertain Joe's theories around Jeffrey Epstein's death, though, was none other than Barry Weiss, who is a New York Times opinion writer turned independent commentator and is married to a woman who was just named in the Epstein files, Nellie Bowles, who actually went back and forth with Epstein and seemingly met up with him a bunch of times accompanied by Barry Weiss. And so when Joe brings up Epstein's death, she seems to entertain the conspiracy theory a little, but then quickly makes it seem not even that important. She even admits to knowing a bunch of people who hung out with Epstein when he was alive, saying that everyone knew about his crimes and didn't do anything about it, which of course just flies right over Joe's shiny bald head.
Can we just agree that he was murdered?
I
If you had all
Also, it didn't fly over his head. He heard her. Trust he heard her.
your chips on the table,
Yes.
like Barry, you got to go all in. What are you gonna do?
There are too many coincidences
Yeah.
to make it plausible that Jeffrey Epstein.
No one knows.
No one knows
Well,
that.
No,
But what
we
people
don't know.
knew, no, meaning.
Someone must.
But what
know.
I was going to say is, like, you know, I've talked to enough people that knew him, met him, went to parties at his house, and said, like, everyone knew this about him. It was like a Harvey Weinstein thing,
Right.
you know, in the sense of the young women,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
or in the sense that everyone knew about Bill Cosby that came into contact with
Yes.
him. Like, there were things that were just agreed.
And they always try to drive a black man into the shit. I'm going to get off on a tangent here, and y'all going to have to sit with me. The way that they talk about Diddy R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, all these niggas versus the way they talk about the Epstein list people and everybody that was on it. That shit disgusts me. That shit disgusts me. It's so crazy, and I'm not even gonna make this a black thing, but it is. It just disgusts me because these motherfuckers were literally all doing the same shit. And the black niggas case, it was on a limited level. Like Diddy was getting nut on his chest. He was flying Jamaican niggas out with big dicks for him and his girl. Bill Cosby was pilling hoes, moms who fucking kids wanted to go to school or some shit. You know what I'm saying? R. Kelly peed on a hoe. I think he got arrested. He actually went to jail for flying out. These motherfuckers, and fuck all them. I'm not saying they cool, but these motherfuckers, these niggas was literally, it shit in there about eating people. Nigga, like, goddamn. We got the richest, most powerful men in the world trafficking kids, taking children, doing whatever, fucking getting girls pregnant, eating the fucking babies or some shit. I seen this shit where he had a trap door that led to the ocean with sharks in it. You know what I'm saying? What happened with that? This why y'all gotta be, man. I hate to use the word woke or some shit, but y'all have to wake up to acknowledging the fact that these niggas are all weird. Don't let nobody tell y'all that Diddy and them and all them niggas, how everybody roasted and talked about them and how their reputations got tarnished. It's not how it should be for these same niggas on the Epstein files. Fuck Bill Gates. Fuck Elon. Fuck Cash for even acting like a bitch. Next time, whenever some crazy shit happen, just realize that you watching these niggas who want to vilify people, want to vilify Somalians, goddamn doing child care fraud, and not vilify niggas on the Epstein list who's eating people and fucking, you know what I'm saying? Just doing flat out, straight up weird fucking shit, bro. You gotta watch out for halftime truth tellers.
To never speak about, you know, it's like, it's just absolutely sick. I was up when the story broke about him hanging himself. I was obsessed for like a few days, but then I had to move on to other things. Of course, like, the world is a big place.
That's what they're
Jews
hoping
are getting beaten
for.
in the streets. Yeah, but it's also like there actually are things that are more important to me than the story of Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
And I hope that there's some investigative journalist digging into the truth.
Why are we waiting for other people to dig into the story? Ain't you a motherfucking reporter? Do your job, ho. What have you done? You the only who knew the nigga that's a journalist on fucking TV and shit, and you ain't said shit about it. You ain't think to go in this nigga bathroom and fucking look behind the toilet or some shit? You ain't think to goddamn while you was at this house chilling, did you not think to, damn, it's a lot of kids here. You ain't think that?
But to be fair to Joe here, he honestly seems like he didn't know Barry's connection to Epstein during this podcast from 2020. But now that she's named in the files as her wife's quote-unquote babe by Epstein, and now that she just hired Dr. Peter Attia at CBS, who is deeply affiliated with Epstein, the whole thing just looks pretty bad for Joseph Rogan. And you already know he's terrified of addressing any of it. Speaking of Peter Attia, though, who's actually one of Joe's more frequent guests that seems to be more close to Joe than usual, he was also listed in the Epstein files, and it appears that he's way more screwed than even someone like Peter Thiel, as he's on record emailing Epstein that he, quote-unquote, can't tell anyone what Epstein does, along with saying that eating pussy is low carb, which is absolutely horrendous given the nature of Epstein's crimes. So Peter Attia probably lost his whole career due to the Epstein files.
And this is another thing I want to say. Any man, any guy that was in the Epstein files and they was talking about any type of fucking at any point ever, those niggas are guilty. Those niggas are guilty, bro. Cause how would you even, I don't just talk to random niggas about pussy eating. I don't even talk to my friends about pussy eating, bro. That's a fact. Nobody just has those casual conversations with random niggas or fucking friends at work or some shit. I got friends who stream and shit. We never talk about pussy. We never say, hey, you know, pussy eating is low carb. No, nobody says that. Nobody talks like that, especially through an email. Like, nigga, it's one thing that y'all see a bad walking, damn, her shit fat. It's another thing to sit here and send in the email, type with your fucking two weird ass, child touching ass fingers. Pussy's low carb. You know that got some, bro. There will be one day, mark my words, chat. There will be one day where all this shit come to a head, and I am looking forward to it 1000%. I want to see all these niggas perp walked and smacked around, sent to jail, and I'm gonna be here to fucking talk about it.
Especially now that he's come out publicly and stated that he's ashamed of his affiliation with Epstein. Straight up just admitting to being the guy's good pal. And being that he's actually sort of close to Joe Rogan, it just makes you wonder how Rogan will address it. If he will at all. Joe Rogan must be shitting his pants right now with how many friends of the podcast are being exposed before his very eyes. And remember, these are the files that Trump's Department of Justice were comfortable with making public. So there's certainly millions and millions of more incriminating things to be released. Like, this is much deeper than you think. Of course, a bunch of the Joe Rogan fanboys are rushing to his defense right now, though, saying that Joe Rogan's had more than 1,200 different guests on his platform and that people are just cherry-picking. And that Joe would have guys like Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Peter Thiel on, regardless of whether they were affiliated with Epstein or not. Which might be true, given that they're some of the biggest names in the world, but the fact that Jeffrey Epstein himself is now on record trying to get in contact with Joe Rogan just shows you how safe Jeffrey and all his goons felt in Joe Rogan's presence. And this info was pulled from emails between Epstein and a man by the name of Lawrence Krauss, who after going on JRE in 2017, emailed Rogan about the opportunity to get in contact with Jeffrey, which apparently Rogan was timid about. Regardless though, they've got to feel like Rogan's on their side or something like that, right? Like they must feel a sense of security around the man given that he never brings up anything involving Epstein's crimes around the associates that he interviews. For instance, during one of the many podcast episodes Joe Rogan shot with Elon Musk, Musk conveniently listed everyone he thought was going to be on it and left himself right off of it. Which, now knowing that he apparently desperately tried to get on Epstein's island and was found to be too dorky to make the list, just seems super pathetic.
It's so obvious.
Yes. Like known Epstein clients who are obviously extremely powerful, powerful politically and very wealthy, are, Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, and Reid Hoffman.
And you!
Some others too, but those three.
Weird as hell.
So, why was Reid Hoffman so intent on destroying Trump?
Yeah, how do you put someone in jail and you don't even name the clients? That sounds kind of insane.
I think, yes, it would. Yes, because
just stunning that they've been able to hold it back for so long. It's really.
And this is the real Joe Rogan right here. When he not talking to somebody who he know is in bed with Jeffrey Epstein, this is hella inquisitive. And this is the Joe Rogan that I fucked with. When he not talking to somebody that he know is on the shit, he want to know all about it. He want to care all about it. All those niggas should be in jail. Whole time, the who is fucking on it, not on it, or whatever, he's around it. It's sitting here having this conversation with a straight fucking face. Elon, one of the biggest, lamest niggas ever. Elon is super smart, but you could tell this got some defect. And he says Asperger's. I think this autistic, bro. He gotta be autistic to post the type of shit he posts, talking about criminals, they should be in jail, this, to go on a podcast and talk all this shit. And the whole time, he was fucking with children, allegedly.
Just stunning that they've been able to hold it back for so long. It's really kind of amazing. Yes. Like when people say that people can't keep secrets, what the fuck are you talking about? Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of these things are not like... It's common knowledge, but we don't actually have the proof.
Right.
So the proof is there. I mean, there's lots of videos.
So yeah, I really wonder if Joe will ever talk about Elon being in the files. Based off how Elon's tweeting like a maniac about it and defending himself way too much on his own app though, he'll probably go on to JRE soon here to clear the air, which will definitely make for another video for this channel since it will indeed be super awkward. Aside from that though, when you step back and look at the whole picture here and consider the sheer number of people involved with Epstein that went on to Joe Rogan, something strange seems to be going on that a lot of people think is much deeper than just a coincidence. Like, Rogan's built his entire brand on being the guy who asks questions, who doesn't trust institutions, and who's skeptical of power, and who loves to entertain conspiracies.
I'm gonna break your heart at the end of this.
Jeffrey Epstein. Yet, when that exact world of power, money, and influence sits across from him in person, his skepticism seems to just disappear. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff, and honestly, by the time this video comes out, I bet there will be way more JRE guests named in the files that I still haven't covered yet. So subscribe if you want to see the part 2, and as always...
W-Bit, look, I'm gonna say this. What happened to Joe is what happened to all these white niggas, bro. When you go from a regular person and you start social climbing all the way up, there's a ceiling. And beyond that ceiling is the petties. Joe Rogan has climbed that ceiling to the petties. Once you get there, these niggas is your friends. Let's be honest. When people are your friends, even if they do some weird shit sometimes, some niggas, depending on who they are, they won't say nothing, bro. That's a fact. And I think we finding that out about Joe. He too cool with these niggas. He got deals with these niggas. He's in business with a lot of these people. He not gonna say nothing. Rogan is compromised.